Hello, everybody, and by everybody, I mean maybe just bleed. What's going on? My name is Nick. I listen to music sometimes, and I provide my honest feedback. That's what we do. Here's FL Studio, and there we go. Just like canceled today. Nah. It ain't the you ain't the vibe, Raham. Let's just go right into it, because I am dehydrated, and I want to drink more of my water. And in order to do that, we got to listen to some music. So, first up, what do we got? Let me make sure that I don't have any mastering effects on. D. That looks all good. That's all good. Okay, cool. Let's have a listen. No Cult, I think. Time Freeze.
Time freeze.
Citizens of the world, I stand before you today with a great warning, a message that demands your immediate attention. Time, the very essence of our existence, is at risk of freezing forever. This alarming phenomenon threatens to bring our lives to a halt, trapping us in a perpetual state of stasis. The consequences are unfathomable. Humanity will cease to exist. Yeah. The consequences are unfathomable. Yeah. This alarming phenomenon threatens to bring our lives to a halt, trapping us in a perpetual state of stasis. The consequences are unfathomable. An eternal cosmic void. Yeah. Our only option is to pray. Yeah. The road ahead may be arduous and the path uncertain, but we must not lose hope. Our collective resilience and unwavering spirit will guide us through this darkness and into the light once more. May we find the courage to face this unprecedented crisis head on, united in our resolve. Let our actions be swift, our minds steadfast, and our hearts filled with hope. Together, we can prevail against the frozen grip of time and restore the essence of life itself. The odds are against us, and our actions are limited. Running away is futile. 1, 2, can't bang. Yeah. The consequences are unfathomable. Yeah. We must not lose hope. We must not lose hope. We must not lose hope. Hope. We must not.
Yeah, that was cool. I think I got two main notes on this one. I think the arrangement was a bit wacky. We got intro build up.
Time freeze.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
I just felt like I wasn't quite sure when we got around here, right before the drop started. I wasn't quite sure where in the track we were, because this almost sounds like it's almost supposed to be the drop. So I don't know. If it was me, I'd probably have it shaped more like this. Okay, hold on. I'll actually cut it to the right spot. Okay. Sure, whatever. We don't have the transient, that's okay. Good enough. Okay, so. And then we'll put that right here instead. Don't worry, Bleed. Time is about to freeze, so your phone won't actually die. Okay, let's listen to this instead. Oh, my bad.
Time freeze.
Citizens of the world, I stand before you today with a great warning, a message that demands your immediate attention. Time, the very essence of our existence, is at risk forever. This alarming phenomenon threatens to bring our lives to a halt.
Yeah, I like that better. And my internet went to 0, so that's cool. Not in the mood for this today, Rogers. Okay, and we're back. Cool. And I'm not saying that this part is useless or bad. It just, the flow from the start of the track to the drop didn't feel like it followed a path that I could easily keep up with. This you could maybe use in the breakdown, which I don't think the track really has.
An eternal cosmic void. An eternal cosmic void.
So I personally like this arrangement better, where we build up and then we build up more and then we hit a drop. I think you could probably break down a little bit more, maybe right before the last drop.
But we must not lose hope. Our collective the road ahead may be arduous and the path uncertain, but we must not lose hope. Our collective resilience.
I don't know. You could maybe use elements of this to have the build to the last drop as well. But to me, this makes more sense. The next thing is there's like this riser thing. That pew, 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 pew. The laser riser is like super quiet. So it's almost like it sounds like you're not confident in that sound or something. I think that could be quite a bit louder. The drop, I know Raham was saying that it's kind of incohesive, but I don't know. I guess it could be more cohesive. I'm not a huge fan of the snare / clap.
To bring our lives to a halt.
And I don't know if you're side chaining to the snare. Maybe that's what I don't like about it. Because there's some moments where the snare doesn't sound bad, but then there's other moments kind of in the thick of it that I'm like, I don't love that. So I'd experiment with side chaining to the snare during the drops as well. Maybe not quite as long of a side chain as the kick, but just play around with it to get that snare really cutting through. It just kind of sounds a bit too boxy or something to me, and I don't know, side chaining might help that. I feel like there's two layers. There's like a snare layer, and then there's like this like almost like a clap layer, and I think the clap layer is maybe too loud or something. But that's pretty much what I think. Other than that, the mix and master, all that sounds pretty good to me. It's more just the arrangement. You have 3 totally different drops, which is fine. That's cool. They all kind of relate to each other. They're just different take or different style of kind of the same idea. But yeah, I think building it up quicker into the first drop is the move, and then maybe experiment with this breakdown section to really make us deserve that last drop. Also, I was kind of thinking you could go back to like the drum and bass or the halftime or something after this, like this 4 to the floor section.
Yeah. The consequences are unfathomable.
Yeah, I think that could be maybe cool if you went back for the end of the track instead of going right to the outro from the 4 to the floor. Try going to the halftime thing and see what that treats you like. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it's cool and definitely has potential. Keep going. All right. Overdose, Cast Stand, Level Up. All right, I think we heard this last week, maybe. Let's have a listen. Okay, so I like that you changed that weird note in the intro, and now the weird note in the, and by weird note, I mean like the major third or whatever it's hitting there, it doesn't necessarily bother me as much. I think that you're still overdoing the reverb because everything is just kind of like this, like a bit of a mess in terms of the sounds that are adding up and repeating and delaying and echoing and stuff like that, right? I think if it was dried out like significantly, it would be much better. What's the next thing I was gonna say? Oh, there was also this intro part. It kind of sounds like you took like the drums, like the same kind of drums that are in the drop, but just like turn them down in volume. So this section kind of exists in a bit of an awkward like middle ground between being full power and being intro. So I don't know if it's maybe like the bass that's too present or something. I don't know if that makes sense, but this almost, it's not like light enough to be like, oh, we're not at the drop yet, but it's not heavy enough to be like, oh, this is the drop. So it's kind of yeah, I would maybe chill out on the bass a little bit in this section, because to me, when I was listening to it, even though I've heard the song before, I was like, oh, is this as heavy as it's gonna get, you know? But yeah, once it gets into it, it sounds great. I just think that I think you need to dry it out. The reverb, I think, is a bit much. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, you can really hear the reverb, the excessive reverb here. Listen to it trail out into this next part here. Like, do this. Turn off all the reverb. Just turn it all off. Listen to it. See what it sounds like. And then slowly mix it in to taste. I would have this very dry because it's very complex harmonically and melodically. And when you have reverb that's continuing notes over top of notes over top of notes, and you keep changing chords and you keep changing notes, and you just end up with this kind of wall of a lot of notes, and it kind of sounds like you're almost laying your arms down on a keyboard and playing all the notes at the same time. Not that bad, but that it's kind of going in that direction. So as an experiment, disable every single delay and reverb on the whole track and listen to the whole track and see what it sounds like if it's totally dry, and then mix it to taste. And if you like the big kind of almost messy sound, then that's great. But to me, that's what I would do. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. That was sick. This is Rattle Break. That's an interesting name. I think it's by Amps. I can't remember. Let's have a listen. I will say that this is much more unique than most of what you've sent, like in terms of sounding too much like the other songs. Because I think Yeah, I think the stuff you send in, the common note is that it kind of sounds similar to the last submission. This one sounds a lot better, in my opinion. It's very scooped, and I don't think it's scooped because of a master EQ curve or anything like that. You can see it over in the frequency analyzer. I think it's choice of sounds. Let's go here. So like right here, if we got rid of the sub bass, wow, Raham gives compliment. So there's some elements that just sound very quiet. Like you can almost see it right here and right here. This is a certain bass sound. Whatever this sound is here, I noticed that it just sounded too quiet. The bass was very loud. And I do agree with Raham. I mean, like this is you have a very cool toolkit here now that you've created, and now it's time to put it into practice and make a song around it, right? You got to give this thing context. You got to sit down and brainstorm and be like, what does this sound like? What is the idea behind this song? What's the concept? Do I have to use words to get the concept across, or is it just a concept that exists in the title and also in my mind to help me kind of inform me how to proceed writing this song so that it's a concept, not just some really cool sound design. But right now you have some really cool sound design, so you got that part taken care of. I would just be careful with some of these sounds that are too quiet, some of the bass sounds, and also it's quite, like I said, quite scooped. You could probably fix that with some EQing on the individual parts, but like the sub bass is very loud. You have a lot of bright elements, but in that mid range, it's a little empty. So maybe look into that. But besides that, this is definitely the best thing that you've sent in my opinion. So keep going with it. Cool. All right, Ray Send. I still have no idea how to say that. Weekend in Rio. Okay. We got a concept here. I can already kind of picture, I don't know what the song sounds like, but the title gives me a time and place. Man, that was such a tease. I thought we were going to get a rap verse. But all we got was yeah. This sounds so good so far. I think that the bass drum is maybe a little, like it could use a little dip in the low mids and a little more clarity in the top end. It's just kind of a bit of a thud right now. And the bass guitar, it almost sounds like a stand-up bass or something. It's kind of existing in that in the low mids as well. So you have this big hump in the low mids. Yeah, I mean, all this is missing is like a really tasteful rap verse. And I think it would be, I mean, it's already amazing. Musically, this is amazing. And like, I would love to make homemade salsa, I think, while I listen to this. I think that would be appropriate. Besides that, just the kick and bass relationship, like I said, production wise, that's the only real issue I have. And it's not even that issue. It's kind of like a taste thing. But to me, I think the bass and the kick drum could coexist a little bit better. And maybe if you just solo those two elements and play with some EQ dips on one or the other element, you might get them to coexist a little bit better. Right now, they kind of sound like they're adding up a bit too much when the kick hits with the bass. You could also do a little bit of side chaining, but I think the sound of the kick drum is just a little too thuddy for me. Besides that, I really wish that you could find like a rapper to like do like a really good, almost like a wholesome rap, you know, or something. I don't know. I think it's great. Hello from YouTube, he says, but he used Twitch to send the message, confusing mixed signals. Okay, let's move on. SOTP, is that like stop, spelt wrong? Necrosis, the build is a placeholder, okay? What? Okay, wait, these notes. It just switched to a major key real quick. Okay, I love the guitar tone. I like this. Those notes just kind of sound a little too nice. Da 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 da. Like they sound happy, and I don't think they should sound happy. They're not that bad, Rayhem. They're not the best drums I've ever heard, but they're not the worst drums I've ever heard either. I think the biggest thing with this so far is the da 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 da. Like it's just too. I don't like the notes. They're too major key. I think they should be minor key. Besides that, you might be able to artificially inject some sub bass. You know, like with a synth to really. Because it kind of is missing that very bottom register. Like, what happens if I do this? I'll just play. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so I don't think it's a song, but like production-wise, mix-wise, and everything. Oh, go one more octave. Okay, so I just play like a sine wave. Well, that was a bad place to do it. Let's go back to the start here. I don't know. It kind of has, I don't know. I don't think it needs much more sub bass. Maybe it's just the kick drum that doesn't have any. The kick drum doesn't really have a whole lot of bottom end to it, does it? It's just kind of more or less a click or like a transient. I don't know. I'm not great at this kind of production, so I like the guitar tone you've achieved. I don't like those happy notes that are at the end of the bars. I feel like the drums are a bit lo-fi. They don't have a whole lot of top end. They don't have a whole lot of low end either. Besides that, it's a cool start. Sorry, I don't think I was very helpful for this one, but like I said, this is not my forte. Those are my thoughts. I think you should change the happy notes, keep going, write a song, then worry about making it sound good. All right, we got Vega Mags, Titan rework. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that I like a lot and a lot of stuff that I like very little, all at the same time. First of all, this is around 6 seconds of my life that I will never get back, and all it was a reverse swish or swoosh. Really don't need that. That's like the coolest part of the song, and it kind of goes away. I don't really necessarily agree with the arrangement where it goes to this like slow, you know, like what would it be like if it just went, let's see. So this is not going to sound good, by the way, but what's up, cat? So, obviously we need a build up, but I don't like this. Like the chords are cool, but to me, it's kind of a bit of a boring, it's a boring section that doesn't seem to exist for any reason. The dun 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 doesn't really go with the major key chords that you're playing on top of that sound, right? Like you got the dun dun dun, and that's very dark, but then you kind of have these like major chords or seventh chords, like nice sounding chords just straight up on top of them. Oh shit. The fuck? I'm trying to how did I mess that up? Oh, I got it. Okay. So what happens if we just skip the slow boring part? Because, okay, the brass goes dun, 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 and it lands on the root, but, like, you have a chord that's not on the root. Like, that chord is not the same chord that the brass is playing. And then my next thought is, why not use this stuff in the drops as well? Like the drop just feels totally disconnected. Like right here, instead of Mario or whatever the fuck's going on in the background, what if it was... Like, that's dumb. I didn't do it right. But you know what I mean? Like we're trying to make a cohesive song here, not just experiment with cool sounds all at the same time, which this is kind of going in that direction. So I think what you got to do is decide on the theme of the song or the theme of the you know, the music that's happening. And if you're going to do cool sounds like the right? That's cool. Then that's cool too, but the brass to me is not working for it. It just is not musically, it doesn't make any sense. Then we get to the drop, which is cool, but it's missing stuff, and the stuff that it's missing is maybe, you know, parts from this first part. Okay, let's keep going. So, yeah, and I think my notes so far still ring true for this second bit as well. There's lots of cool stuff, you know, lots of cool sounds happening. It's just, you just need to make it into a bit more of a song. So yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Sorry if they're a bit hazy. I am tired today. Okay, let's move on. We got the cat attack. We are one. X cat attack. Wow. It's a collab. Oh, Backfire Massacre. Did we already hear this one? I don't remember. Let's listen.
Okay, we are moving on. We are moving on. We are one. I feel like if you went to sleep to that music, you might not wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Suspects driving a black Mitsubishi.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think overall it's a bit too soft around the edges for this style. There's a lot of reverb, there's a lot of drums. Those Foley sounds really poke through the mix a lot. Like when they happen, they're like almost louder than everything else in that like mid-range area. I think you got to go harder in general. Maybe try stripping it back and have it a bit more upfront. When you have all that kind of like background noise, atmosphere and stuff that you put in your atmospheric tracks, that's one thing. But when you add all that kind of almost fogginess, it takes off the sharp edges. It's almost like dithering to the song in a way, if that makes any sense. Like I want it to be like da 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 da, but it's more like ba da 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 da, because everything is kind of smoothed over with the atmospheric stuff, whether that's a layer or reverb or what or sloppy cymbals or whatever, you know. Alias, yeah. It's almost like I don't even know if distortion is necessarily what it needs, because right now I hear the notes going da 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 da, but it's more, instead of going da 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 da, it's going ba la 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 la. Does that make any sense? I hope so. That's pretty much what I'm getting from this, is that it feels like the track is 10 feet in the mix when I want it to be 10 feet inside my ears, you know? And an XC master. It's definitely not mastered that hard, and you can go harder on the master, but I don't think that's going to fix it. I think you need to get a bit more heavy-handed on the production side of it. And yeah, I think the snare could be a bit like the snare almost sounds like synthwave snare, you know, like it's not super aggressive. It's almost like Raham said, too soft. I hate when I agree with Raham, but it happens a lot.
We are moving on. We are moving on. We are one. You might not wake up. Sleep to that music. I feel like if you went to sleep to that music, you might not wake up.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool track. I think you got to just adjust your production style, and you'll find that balance. You'll be like, oh, when I do this and this, it's super atmospheric, and that's great for atmospheric parts. But now I need to like pull that back and maybe do some stuff that maybe it doesn't feel quite right to you because you're used to making ambient stuff, right? But anyway, you'll figure it out. I have no doubts. All right, next up we got Nakai Harn Crystal Effects. Okay. So I don't know if they're supposed to, or maybe like there's going to be lyrics or something, but the jump from this. And this, I think it's the sub bass that's bothering me here in this build up section. I think the sub bass is way too loud for this build section. I think you should hold off until we get there. Because you can see how big the sub bass is when it hits. And then there's just these weird, like this, it looks weird and it sounds weird. And like whatever's going on in this, like, I don't know, this section is kind of weird. Let me play through and I really gotta pee. Okay, so the drops are honestly like, I really like the drops. They're really good. And then everything outside of the drops is just a little wonky. Like I could see this if there was like like singing or lyrics or whatever. But everything between this and this I don't love. Like, I don't mind what's the stuff that's there, but it's just not enough, I don't think. And then when this sub bass comes in, it's very odd. Let's look at it on the spectrum or on the frequency analyzer. Yeah. The build, just take the sub bass out of the build. That might actually just fix that. But you can see how much dynamic range you have between these. And I think it's a bit much compared to, you know, what else? Oh, this sound. It's like not the right note, you know? That little build, it almost sounds like feedback or something. Not the right note, and it sounds weird and doesn't fit. Drops are great. Work on everything else. Don't worry about the drops for now. Just work on the other stuff and figure out if you're gonna have vocals in it, because I think it would help a lot. Okay, that's what I have. That's what I think. Thank you, Multifox Paper Riot. All right, we got a clean 3 dB of headroom there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's have a listen. that third chord, I don't like. It almost sounds like it kind of sounds like like the name of the chord is like 14 characters long, you know, sus4 augmented fifth on the second to the last drop of the song type chord. I don't know. I don't like that chord. So what the bass is going up to what I would imagine the next chord would be, but then the actual chords that are being played are like this, like it's like the kind of chord that you would have to explain to me why it would sound good from like a musical point of view. You're like, no, the third resolves down to the and then it inverts. And if you look at it from that, like, okay, if you have to explain to me, it's like explaining a joke. So yeah, do something about that third chord. That's my biggest problem right now is that third chord. So let's figure out. I'm not going to try to figure out what chord to put there, but I would highly suggest you figure out a different chord to put there. Okay, let's keep listening. Like this is a pretty wacky song, you know, so I'm gonna try to not try to get it out of the wacky area because I think that would just it's not really possible because that's just the style of the song. I think that those hi-hats are a bit aggressive. I agree. Super Saiyan Senpai. That is a mouthful. From it, I feel like its journey sort of feels like rhythmic, melodic sound and drums. Yeah, that's, you know, that's. I kind of agree with Kat. I feel like you got to continue your journey on learning music, like chord structures, melodies, and that sort of stuff. That third chord, it just throws me right off because it almost has this built-in tension that doesn't get resolved, and it also like the sound of the chord is pure tension, right? There's no notes that are really agreeing with each other, but then it goes back to a chord that doesn't really deal with that tension. If I'm certainly not the most knowledgeable musician out there in terms of, you know, chord design and all the why things make you feel certain things or whatever, but I do know that third chord, it just feels like a ball of tension that doesn't get undone. It just kind of, it's almost like it's left unresolved, you know? So I do agree with Kat. I think that this song is you experimenting with a different style because normally you do like four to the floor stuff. So I love that you are experimenting with different styles. But there's just something missing in terms of concept or musical like theme, I guess. Da da da. Like let me see if I could figure out a chord pattern that's similar to what you're doing, but maybe slightly better. Let's figure out what tempo it is. It's very fast or very slow. 175. $176. Okay, let's figure out what the root note is. We'll do Labs piano because everybody loves Labs piano. 174. Yeah, sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure it's 176. Yes, it's 176. So. Okay, E. I'll bring this over. Oops, one sec. Yeah, like here we can immediately see a problem. E, F, E, F, E to the F. That is like if you want stuff to sound really evil, you know? Hold on. That's that interval, right? Going from the E to the F is that interval. I'll still try. I'll try to make it work. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so right off the bat, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle with these chord choices because of the E and the F being one semitone apart from each other. That's always going to sound kind of tense and wrong, you know? Dun, dun. Okay. Okay, this is kind of the roots of what I am hearing you attempting to do. So let's just fill this out. Are you doing them? Yeah, you're doing minor chord. Okay, let's. And actually, let's just fill these out. Like you could make these chords work. Oops. What the fuck have I done? No. Take me back. There we go. Going back to the E is, I don't know. I don't like. Maybe back to the D instead. No. Thank you for letting me know. Camera, yes. There we go. Thanks. Okay, so this is me trying to figure out how to make the chords you've chosen work, and I'm having a difficult time, but I think I like this better. Something like that. I don't know. No. This to me sounds slightly more musical, but I'm still not like massively in love with it. Let's see if let's invert those. Another kind of rule of thumb with your chords is you want to try and, with your voicing, figure out where the smallest amount of change from note to note would be. And I know that this is like totally different style. I don't know what we're trying to achieve, Raham. I just kind of was trying to take Multifox's chords and figure out how to make them less offensive sounding, I think is what I was trying to do, but I don't know where I'm at anymore. So here we are. Yeah, it almost resolves too much now. I agree with the last chord. Try going back to E. That was the original. I don't know. It's a challenging chord progression, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, okay, anyway, I feel like I've beaten the horse to death. Let's keep listening. But honestly, the chords are kind of ruining the song for me because I don't like them. So this is very like, you know what I mean? It's very robotic. And I don't really know, maybe that's what you're going for. I'm not necessarily against it. It's just hard for me to give you much more feedback on this because I really just don't like the chord progression. It's bothering me. But I'm happy that you are experimenting with different styles. And I think maybe you should take a week and just do a bunch of research on chord progressions and how to build tension with dissonance and how your mind wants like a note to go, and then it goes to where you want it to and you've resolved and it feels like you've released some tension. Like there's theory behind this. You don't need to be Beethoven or whatever. But you do need, I think you need to focus on just learning some more music theory, fundamentals. That's what I have to say about this, is that you are getting better at the production, and now you should also try to upgrade your musical theory at the same time. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Coder B5, Chill DB demo. Okay, this is very cool. I think the pacing is not necessarily too slow, but you haven't introduced, there's not enough stuff happening to hold my attention for 44 seconds of that, right? Like there are things changing and it is slowly ramping up, but it lost my attention right around this area. When I expected there to be a big, almost like evolution or like development in the track, there wasn't really much of a development. Okay, so like we went all this time and the development was you gave us a new ambient lead and low pass drums, right? I don't think that's enough to hold my attention. And the pacing issues kind of continue into the drop. And I'm not saying it has to continually change or anything like that, but it's just, it's nice and groovy, but like maybe ear candy stuff, like effects and things that just kind of give me something to contemplate, or like, oh, that was cool, or you know, that sort of like moments in the track. I think the snare is very non-existent. Let's see, we're probably 174 if I were to make an educated guess. There we go. Let's see if I was right. Nope, I was not right. It is. Maybe 171? I don't know what the tempo is. I think it's 172, but I can't quite. Anyway, I just wanted to try like a better snare to see what that sounded like. There is the start. Let's put it there. Yeah, it's 172. Okay, let's try layering in a snare, because I think everything that's there sounds really nice and pretty, but we don't have that snare to kind of keep the flow of it going, right? The snare is very important in drum and bass because everything else is kind of doing offbeat things and it's kind of shaky and you know, the snare is almost always giving us that almost metronome to follow along with. So let's just try, I don't know, snares. No. Thanks, Singularity. Have a good one. This one could be good. This could be a tasty snare. I think that might work. Let's give her a shot. See what that sounds like. I think this kind of snare might be the move. Hello, everybody. Let's try sidechaining your whole track somewhat. See what that sounds like. Oh, I massively made a humongous error. But that's okay, because I can fix it. Okay. See how much more the track feels like it's moving forward because we have that snare cutting through a lot better. And I'll try a few different snares. I'm crazy like that. Why isn't that changing? And maybe like a drum or a top loop that's a bit more straightforward. Let's grab D, 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 and B. I don't know. We could try something just like this. That end bit though. Yeah, I think that these are good additions. Let's go back and forth and see if they're adding or subtracting to this, to the vibe of the track. I mean, the hi-hats are a bit busy. I would maybe like maybe just repeat this instead. Let's try this. Let's hear it. And then here, I mean, we could have something else coming in. I don't know. I'm just picking random shit at this point, but it's not necessarily what I pick, but like why I pick it, if that makes sense. I don't know. It doesn't even make sense to me. So, oops. I don't know what Soka is, but I can fuck around with anything. So these are my thoughts. It's lacking energy in the top end. You got the low end, you got the vibes, everything's there, but it's missing that top end specialness that I'm attempting to inject here. Yeah, Raham would love it. Yeah, you can send stuff over right here. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Coder B5. Here, why don't I just do this for you? I'll render this out and then you can just slap them in if you want, if you like them, or you don't have to if you don't want to. But I'm gonna call this Coder B6. All right, rendering that out. Are you guys hearing that crazy? No, you're not. Okay. Why did I render the whole thing when it's just copied and pasted? I have no idea. But here we are, and we're gonna wait it out. Beep boop. Okay, cool. Those are my thoughts. I think it's cool. Feel free to use these drums or feel free to bin them, as the UK folks say. All right, next up, we got Fehu, I'm Back. You really should call it I'm Back, Bitch. That would have much more, like, oomph, you know? Okay, here we go. All right, that was wild. I loved a lot of that, but I felt that once it got to this, then I could finally follow along with it. Up until that, the rest of the track, I was just like, what is happening right now? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like these moments where you kind of like fake us out, like that right there, cool. Have them every once in a while, but I feel like you are fucking with us too much because I keep wanting to get into the groove so I can like rock out and enjoy all the weird sounds and the craziness, but you keep pulling the rug out from underneath of me rhythmically, and that makes it hard to get into. And I also agree with Raham, unfortunately, once again, that I think there's a lot of potential for great melodic content in here because it's already very harmonic. But I think yeah, I think you're just fucking with us too much, you know? Like sure, fuck with us, but don't fuck with us that much. Add a melody, give us more, make it just a little bit. I know it's called intelligent dance music, so you need a little bit of intelligence to dance to it, but like I feel like this is hyper intelligent dance music. Besides that, I love it. I love, you know, obviously it's not a structure, it's just an idea, but I think it's fucking sick. It just needs, I need to be able to rock out to it, and you need to build it into a song. And that's basically all I have to say at this point for the song. So thanks for coming back. That was a joke because of the name of the song. I'm moving on. All right, we got a Dexy. I can see some volume automation. Look at that nice little whoop. Look at the curves. Look at the curves. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know. I can't think of it. Maybe like the bushes behind my cousin's house or something. Stabletron, sorry for loudness, but this type of music it really needs. Okay. Oh, it's guaranteed post-limiter autumn. This is the master bus volume coming down. I can almost draw out the automation clip of it. Anyway. Wow. Yeah, I like this one. I don't think it's too loud, but the one thing that I think you should try and sort out regarding the loudness is the kick and clap relationship. I'm a little torn on it because it's very interactive when it hits the master limiter. Like, there it's one thing, but when you hit the clap and the kick at the same time... Wait a minute. No, this is a snap and clap. A snap and clap. A clap and snare. Snap and clare. That's what they used to call my cousin in high school because she would just lose it all the time. Snap and clare. Anyway, this is the way. Why did you not use this throughout the track? I feel like that is the way. The other parts of the track... Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, there's a moment where there's a kick and clap. And now, of course, I can't find it. But why not use that big, like, why only do the clap in this section? I don't understand why you'd switch that element out for the drops. I think that this sounds dope. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of sounds like you're making it different for the sake of making it different. I think you're subtracting from the... Okay. Excuse me, I sneezed in case you didn't notice. I feel like you are subtracting from the heaviness and the quality just to try and make it different. Because to me, that sounds good. Thank you for the bless you. That smacks me. You know, this does not. Because there, you have this massive wall of noise, and I know it's the style, but the clap is just in amongst the noise. It's not like smacking me anymore. It's just like, oh, there's a clap in amongst that gigantic tsunami of noise that's happening. Whereas you are side chaining, and you have a nice punchy snare in this first section. You know, like it's very clear where the snare is. In this section... I mean, if I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just telling you that I wouldn't do that because you have a perfectly good snare that's somehow cutting through and slicing through that massive wall of sound and hitting me in the face. I don't think that's the move, but that's just me. Besides that, I think it sounds great. You know, like, whatever, you're doing automation after the limiter. It's not like you can't do that. I don't think it sounded bad. Yeah. I will say that that high pass thing, maybe bring it down a little bit because it's a little harsh where you have it so high passed. Besides that, I think it sounds dope. I would probably mix and master it a little less aggressively, but that's just me. I think my only real feedback on this one is the clap, switching up the clap. I think was unnecessary. That's it. That's all I have. Okay, Bandwave. It has some funky vibes. It does kind of, doesn't it? Okay, let's go.
And maybe she just made a mistake, and I should give her a break. My heart'll ache either way. Hey, what the hell? What you want me to say? I won't lie, that I can't deny. I did it all for the nookie. Come on, the nookie. Come on, so you can take that cookie and stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your I did it all for the nookie. So you can take that cookie and stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your did I so long to figure it out? Underneath the sun, get it. I can't believe that I can get an agenda.
Wow. I'm glad that Rayhem isn't in the chat right now. He would lose his mind at you. This is the I
did it all for the nookie. Come on, the nookie. Come on, so you can take that cookie and stick it up your yeah. Stick it up.
I mean, this is fun and funny. I don't know what to say, honestly, man. This is I actually love this. It's enjoyable. It's distorted and it kind of sounds bad in a good way. Cookie, yeah. Funny. My only like production feedback would maybe be that the vocals kind of cut through a bit. They poke at certain sections, like probably right here. Yep, right there. So maybe just try to make it less pokey in that high mid range. Besides that, I really don't know what to tell you. You keep going. Make it a full song, I would say. Okay, I got 4 more tracks we're gonna listen to that came in late, and then we're off. So let me grab those real quick. Sort by date created, and I really have to pee, which is a problem. Oh man. All right, next up we got Val Code Low ID. I will never use these vocals again in my life. But you know what? I'm glad. I love that song and I love what you're doing with it. So keep going and basically try to make it a full song that's actually like good so that it's a full middle finger to Rayhem. I think that should be your goal, is to piss off Rayhem the most. Okay, Val Code Low ID. Let's listen. I'm also going to run out and pee and listen from the other room while I'm doing that.
Pain isn't fun. Find me someone. Why should I have to stop and go? Pain isn't fun. Find me someone. Said I need you now. Bleeding in love. In love. Oh, bleeding in love. In
Rayhem, did you miss the last track? I don't think you were here. This is honestly really good. I like this. I don't think there's a problem with the one chord wonder in the drop. I do think that it takes too long to, like, we're a minute and a half. I don't think we should have to wait a minute and a half to get to the drop. It's like right off the bat, you could probably kind of, you could probably start like that. I don't necessarily think you need, or maybe like just a couple chords and then into it. Like you don't need that full measure of, most people might just skip it at that point.
I need someone. Why should I have to stop and go in love? In love, in love, bleeding in love, in love.
This section you could probably cut out. Whatever, I'll just say there. It's not going to be a perfect cut, but that's fine. I feel pretty strongly that this would be a much better arrangement, because now we get to the drop less than a minute in. And if I cut out important parts of the vocals, use them in the breakdown, right? Don't bore us, get us to the chorus. And the chorus in this type of music is the drop. Get to the chorus, establish what the song's going to do. Once you've established that, now you've sold us, right? And now during the breakdown, you can string us along a little bit more, because we know what we're in for. We know that it's a cool drop. We know the track is sick. We're sold. But at the very start of the song, get into it, show us what you've got, and pitch. It's like the elevator pitch. In order for us to buy into the rest of the song, you have to get us past the first 10 seconds, you know? And that's pretty hard to do, especially these days. And especially with this style of music. If this was an ambient track that was on an ambient album for people to listen to when they want to listen to ambient song, you could have a 7-minute intro. You know, it's the context, but this is like a heavy, I don't even know, mid-tempo, Moomba-y kind of thing. The type of people that want to listen to this shit, they don't want to wait around forever, you know? And I don't think you should sacrifice artistic integrity just so that impatient people won't hit skip. But at the same time, there are creative ways to get to the drop faster, and I think you should do that. Okay, let's keep going.
Pain isn't fun. Find me someone. Why should I have to stop and go? Pain isn't fun. Find me someone. Said I need you now, bleeding in love. In love. Oh, bleeding in love. In love.
Same kind of issue here. Oh, unfinished second build. Oh, are you the one that made this? Velcro, yes. Because I didn't read. I didn't read what you typed. Sorry for boring. Second break. Skipped to 30. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay, I think what you should do, if you're going to introduce this new thing, bring it into the build. You could filter it, maybe low pass it, high pass it, something. Bring it, introduce it before we rock out to it. Because I wasn't really ready for that, and not in a good way. Like I was like, it took me a second while I should be rocking out at the first beat of the drop, but it took me a second to listen and understand what was happening. So this build up is again too long, because there's not enough stuff happening. You can make this build this long. It just needs to constantly be more exciting, more exciting. You could bring that that 16th note thing. You could bring it in and fade it up with the build, and then finally give us the full meal deal when we hit the drop. And then it's like a payoff. We know what we're rocking out to. It's already been established. And then I think you'll make at least $6 or $7 billion off of this one song. $2 billion, I don't know. The market's weird these days. So this, I would go back to the original drop. Like sure, drop with that initially, but like bring it back around again to this John, because it's sick. That like kind of that wonky timing thing is sick. So you could either add it on the end of that or just replace this. I don't know, maybe I might eat my words here, but let's give it a shot. I think that works. It's not the end of the world if you don't go back to that, but I would, because it's sick and I kind of want to hear it again. You know, you could change it up a little bit. Maybe there's more percussion or a riser sound or something, but I would go back to that eventually and end on basically that. Big drop in energy if he does that. Big drop in energy. I don't think so. I don't agree with that. It's all about how you introduce it. You know, maybe it builds up and it does a Rayhem fake out where you get the first kick, bam, whatever the thing is. I don't think it's a drop in energy. Yes, it's less notes and slower pace, like it's not 16th notes, but it's also the end of the song. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I think it sounds great. I don't have really much mix and master. I do kind of agree with Rayhem once again with the fact that like the breakdown sections and stuff are still quite like full scale loudness, and you could probably strip them back a little bit so that you can have more of a build up to a loud thing as opposed to a loud thing building to a loud thing. But besides that, I think it sounds good. Okay, cool. Let's listen to TG Productions, Spirit Calling. So what style of music is this? What did you call it? Cosine? Cosecant? Tangent? I'm scrolling up through chat trying to find out what you called it. I can't remember what you called it. The spirit is calling me to the islands. This kind of reminds me of like a Super Nintendo game. Okay, so like musically, sure, I dig this, but like sound choice, unless this is very specific to the style of music that I'm not aware of, the sound font brass is kind of it sounds cheesy, but maybe that's the way, like the MIDI kind of sounding brass. It's definitely not fooling anybody into thinking that it's an actual horn. Maybe that's a style. I actually kind of like it because it reminds me of my childhood growing up in the 90s playing Super Nintendo games. But if that's not what you're going for, then maybe try and find like a better sample library for horns, specifically if you're going to be doing this style. I don't know any history behind this, if this is like a like a southern it sounds like it comes from some sort of place that I would go on vacation. I don't know if that's offensive. That is the best way I can put it. But like I said, musically, it's good. These sections kind of don't have a whole lot of music going on. It's mostly just a percussion thing. It feels like so you just used flex. Okay. Yeah, I would, look, if you want more realistic sounding horns, look into contact libraries. There's lots of great contact libraries that will get you there. To me, I think you should look at expanding some of your sounds. Like the drums also kind of sound very MIDI drum. Like that crash, I can almost hear it go psh, like end like with a low bit depth. So I keep deleting shit. So my suggestion, it sounds like you know what you're doing musically. I think your next goal is to upgrade your the tools at your disposal in terms of samples, synthesizers, sample libraries to emulate real instruments. Maybe find somebody that actually plays trumpet. That would be best case scenario, and record real trumpet. You could show them the MIDI or show them I'm sure they'd be able to figure it out and record that in 5 minutes. But yeah, I think the biggest thing holding you back right now is just your sample library and sound selections. So look into that. But yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it reminds me of going down south, and I haven't done that in many years. So it's a bittersweet feel for me. All right, cool. Thank you for sending. Let's move on. Alone, period. That period really makes the word alone seem more aggressive, doesn't it? Raham, you missed us going down south for a vacation is what you missed. Do we have a producer tag? I don't think we've ever had a producer tag. That we've actually. Oh my god. Bleed. Is Bleed still here? Because remember. Oh my god. I hope Bleed is still here. Check this out. So this is the folder where we keep all the submissions. Watch this. Oh wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Yes! Yes! Look at how many songs we have now because 4 people submitted late. Look at how many songs we have reviewed on stream. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm way too excited about that. Because I posted a screenshot when it was 1,230. And Bleed was like, why don't you just wait until 4 more people submit? And when I started the stream, 4 more people didn't submit. But now 4 people submitted. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 files, and we've done 71 weeks. Okay, cool. Well, after that intermission, let's keep going.
Every single breath, cause I can't manage by myself, I'm such a mess. And constantly, I've been stressing in my head. Like, is it worth it? Should I really be obsessed?
Well, Raham, the only money that I've ever taken out of Twitch was that time that I took it out and I split it in half and sent it to you and Eswin. So I haven't made, you guys are the only people that have made any money off of Twitch. Anyway, okay. I like this. It's hyperpop. It's very crunchy as it always is. I feel like if you're going to go this crunchy, why isn't it also super loud?
Just talk to me, I'm worth every single breath. Cause I can't manage by myself, I'm such a mess. And constantly, I've been stressing in my head. Like, is it worth it? Should I really be obsessed? They used to tell me I should fight back. You keep messing with my heart now like that. So I'ma stay up in my lane and you should mind that. And if you get up in my way, then I'ma talk to me constantly. Then you turn to a ghost. It's hard to find the better things when you're all alone. Talk to me constantly. Then you turn to a ghost. It's hard to find the better things when you're all alone. Talk to me constantly, then you turn to a ghost. It's hard to find the better things when you
All right, my friends. Don't tell me what to do, Matt. We have our first public bitrate shaming of the day. So I'm just going to go ahead and I think this will fix a lot of the issues that I was going to mention. Paint. We're just going to go ahead and that is a bad bitrate. Bad bitrate. Come on. Do better. Let's just make that extra big. Let's take a moment to shame this person, Kumi, for posting something that was 124 kilobits per second. I think that'll fix a lot of stuff because I'm hearing this weird, like, unclarity. What's the opposite of clarity? Inclarity up in the top end. And I think that might be directly related to the bitrate.
talk to me constantly, then you turn to a ghost. It's hard to find.
But like the track is cool. I like the track. I think that it needs some mixing. I don't really want to give too many feedbacks with it being such poor quality MP3 because I think that might have something to do with some of my thoughts. I like the track. Thank you guys for counting. All right, our last one of the day. Raveologist, My Mind. Okay, this is an interesting waveform. Kind of gives me Vapor Trail vibes. Okay. Okay. I like a lot of stuff about this, and I'm also going to do the rest of the stream in the dark, so I don't feel like turning all those lights back on. There's no kick drum. There's a distinct lack of kick drum happening. Let's see if we can fix that and see what it could sound like. I don't know if that's a style choice, but to me, it's not. Okay, that's the kick right there. And what are we, 140 or something? No, we are 150. 154? No, 155. We'll say 155. Oh, thank you. I was close. Okay, so I don't know how to make this style of music, so take this with a grain of salt. But we will try. Because I think the only thing this is missing is a kick drum. I don't know. There's like, I think I have a folder called like distorted kicks or something like that. I definitely don't have. Oh, wait. I might. These are very old samples. Never mind. None of those are good. I don't know. Let's try this one. Sure. Let's just fire it in there. We're just going to fire it in and see what happens. And we'll go through a few different kick drums. But I think you are one kick drum change away from this being a lot better. All right, here we go. Oops. This one is... It's just a frequency thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's a style thing, but like the kick is just like non-existent, so... To me, that sounds a trillion times better. And I don't know, maybe you disagree, but like that, I wish that the kick drum was there when I was raving with the strobe light. I would have went 10 to 15% harder. Oh, and you could also do this fucking thing that people do in this style of music, where they take the kick drum and reverse it every once in a while. Yeah, honestly, man, I could just send you this kick drum sample. I think this kick drum sounds great, to be honest, like, in my opinion. No problem, Nakai. I don't know, dude. That is my thought. I feel like you might be a little too concerned about the norms of the style, and maybe this is blasphemous for me to put this kick drum on this song because it's this style. But from a purely objective dance music point of view, it needs more than just a little bit of low end added in. It needs like a whole ass kick drum. You know what I mean? You can see the side chain, and you can see the offbeat bass is super loud, but where the down, it is a little blasphemous. Yeah. I don't know. I am pretty horrible at genres, and I don't give a fuck if I'm doing something wrong. If I like the way it sounds, I just do that. But that's not to say that that's the right way to do it. That's just what I would do. But yeah, overall, it sounds good. Just needs a kick drum, in my opinion. The arrangement is maybe a little bit like, you know, it doesn't really start and build up to the drop. It kind of... I don't really necessarily think the arrangement is as good as it could be. I would maybe drop, and again, maybe this is like blasphemous. I don't know. Maybe I'm offending all the hardstyle people out there. I don't even know if it's hardstyle. Maybe I'm offending the people that make this music that isn't called hardstyle. Let's try this. Like, okay, maybe have like a shorter build into this. But like, I feel like you built up all this energy and then it just kind of fizzles out over the course of this. Like, this to me has no value. Even that doesn't have very much energy. Like whenever I, let's see if I could do it this way. So if we line this up, and I'll try to do it so that you can actually see it. What I like to do is, I don't actually draw shit out, but I do it in my head. One moment. It goes. I should see that. Yeah, I always kind of look at like the energy level, you know, like if this is the track versus time, this is the start. It kind of does this, and then it kind of does this, and then it does this, and then it kind of does this, and then it does this. Like it kind of just does stuff. Whereas you might want it to look a little more like, you know, oh fuck's sakes, you might want it to look a little more like this, and then maybe build up, and then drop out a little bit, then build up more, and then a little drop out, and then boom, hit us. You know, like it's a bit more. It kind of goes in a direction as opposed to just kind of doing things. I like a lot of the elements that are here. It's just the way that they're arranged, I think, could be better. But between that and the kick drum, I think you will. I think it'll sound a lot better. And if any hardstyle person gives you a hard time, you just tell them to come talk to me, and I'll set them straight. Okay. All right, that's it. Thank you for hanging out. It's nice to see some new people. We'll be back same time. Sorry. We'll be back same time next week, Fridays, 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Send in your stuff. And also on my Discord server, we have lots of people throughout the week. It doesn't have to just be Friday. You guys can share songs and share thoughts and berate each other and make each other cry and hopefully grow and laugh and live, laugh, and love and all that shit. Okay, I don't know what I